My connection to music started way before I was even born. My mom was a music teacher and a missionary to Mexico, where she went and taught music, and my dad was one of her students. And so that's where they met. And so I grew up in a household, my two older sisters and I just always had to go to piano lessons, voice lessons, whatever she was teaching, and a lot of choral music. And I eventually sang in choir all through my childhood into my high school years. And of course, as you know, Texas has a very good tradition of choral music.
Yes.
It's really big, it's competitive, it's fun. And so I really got into that when I was in high school. That's when I figured out that I really wanted to sing, but I needed to figure out also if I wanted to sing choral music, if I wanted to be a conductor. I did my undergrad in music education, which was also a huge learning experience that I never thought that I would pull into my performing with, but it's also a performance teaching, being in front of kids and being trying to get attention. So I definitely learned so much there. And then I was doing really well with singing, and I loved my voice teacher, and I said, I want to know who else I can study with. And then I went up to University of North Texas, and that's probably in my graduate degree when I fell in love with opera. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, let me do some young artist programs. Let me start singing opera a little more. Mm-hmm. And of course, you don't know that your voice is going to be like that. You don't think that you're going to necessarily, you don't think that you're going to go right into a vocal technique that's going to be fit for opera. Mm-hmm. But really, as you keep training and you realize that bel canto technique is just something that's a heightened form of something that's beautiful than when people sing together in choir, or the same thing when you're singing in the shower. Mm-hmm. And so I decided that was kind of what I wanted to keep doing. And it's been great.
Beautiful. Well, I share something in common with you where my mother was a singer.
Yes.
And she's still with us. And she was singing throughout her entire pregnancy with me. So it's always been a part of me. So when our mothers, especially, right, mm-hmm. are the ones either playing an instrument or singing or listening to others, as your mother was.
You can tell that that's when it happened.
It's part of your origin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was destiny that you would find your place where it is right now.
Yes, yeah.
Where do you see this approach and technology in the future of the art form? Mm-hmm. And where do you see it going? Because I know that everyone's been trying to do something quickly.
Right.
And I think that once we go back to a quote-unquote normal, it's not going to feel normal because we've all grown. Yes. We've all been stretched beyond where we were before. Mm-hmm. So how do you think that the digital content will evolve?
I think every singer has gone through their own set of challenges and maybe some really good successes with learning how to do their own recordings, learning what projects to start doing, learning new repertoire, trying to figure out kind of what their time during COVID will look like. And there's a huge learning curve with that. There's a lot of singers who have been really fortunate, like I have, that I've found a project, pretty regularly that has kept me busy and that really feeds my soul, because I love to sing, I love to perform, and I would really miss it if I had to not do it for a very long time. But I've been lucky that I've been doing things off and on. I think with that sort of learning curve that we've all learned, in the same way, I think audiences have their own learning curve, and they also are figuring out what a true connection is with a performer when they're on stage, and vice versa. I think audiences are going to be so grateful when we're able to be in the same room, like the hall here at the Lyric Opera, this beautiful space, mm-hmm. Sitting next to people, hearing this gorgeous music, and being able to take that in together. That sort of experience that's lost a little bit with our new virtual way that we're doing things. But at the same time, we still can do it at such a high level here at the Lyric when you have good resources and you have people who are willing and the passion behind the music. We're very lucky to get to do these sorts of things for audiences that are still learning how to connect. And
that's beautifully said. Really beautifully said. And I felt when we were doing our duet, those were the first sounds that I had made on the stage since the production of Madame Butterfly. Yeah. And just to hear, I thought about it today, our sound fills the hall, And so it meets with the hall, but then also the hall meets with our sound.
Yeah.
And there's this communion between the hall and the human voice.
Yes.
And I'm echoing what you've just said now, which is the importance of coming in person. And that nothing can replace that. The digital content is wonderful.
Yes.
And you can view it from your home, but this is something that is otherworldly
Yeah.
in a great way.